Hi, I'm Ashley Siegling from the Human Centipede, and you should listen to WithoutYourHead.com.
Just without your head.
Without Your Head.
All right, and we are live here once again at the station of decapitation. I am Nasty Neal.
I'm Treacherous Trista.
Yes, very good. And we're here to talk about sick and wrong. Not just things that are sick and wrong, but the film festival, Sick and Wrong, which is happening right now as we speak. So you go over to sickandwrongfilm.com, and you get 25% off discount if you used Without Your Head promo code HEADLESS, and it's all lowercase. It's very cool. So there's too many to review every movie here, but it was, which is cool though, because it's all week long, so you're really going to get your money's worth to go and check these out. And some really creative and wild stuff. So these are broken up into groups for blocks for the shorts. So first of all is the bodily function shorts. Do you have any ones that stood out for you for there that you'd like to talk about?
Well, I don't have my what?
I have some here. We'll start.
Oh yeah, go on. You can go on.
All right. Yeah. So Litter, which I watched today. Which is this one made me laugh, and it was a much more epic story than I expected going into a short film. And there was stuff. Sadly, my cat's bigoldturd.com is not a real website. I did look it up after. I was kind of hoping it was, but unfortunately, it isn't. But maybe the director can set that up.
I watched that one as well. I was waiting for a kitty most of the time.
Right, that's a good point. There are no kittens or cats in the film.
No, but if you enjoy bodily functions, you'll get a lot.
I'm sure many people who watch this program do. And it was just a lot of funny dialogue, which I like. There's a lot of I wrote down. I enjoy a good bean dinner, which I don't think I've ever heard in a film, but I dug it. And I like when you take something really serious, it's so strange and silly.
Yeah, and there was a good death in that too, huh?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, that was executed well.
Yeah. Like I said, for a short film, it really has. It tells a story, and it seems like a much bigger story than the runtime would allow. Nail biter I wanted to bring up. We had the director on. And again, this was done really well. And I thought it was. I mentioned this when we did the interview with everybody. I thought it actually has a nice message to the film.
Yeah, I thought so too. Acceptance, right?
Yeah, acceptance, and it's like because it's two consenting adults, and neither of them are being hurt, and someone's doing something for their partner that maybe they're not necessarily into, but. They are, and they're both happy then.
Yeah, compromise.
Mm-hmm. Right. And even at the same time, as I mentioned in the other one, this is one of the few ones that there is a scene that kind of grossed me out, even though it has a nice message.
It's so funny. It didn't gross me out as much as it grossed you out.
Uh-huh.
Some other ones grossed me out more, but I really enjoyed this one. I wrote down, I'm a bit of a flautist. For some reason, that was very funny to me.
Yes, I agree. Flautist is a good term. I'm a fan of bizarre terms, silly terms, and the flout is up there. I did not look up flout, though. I looked up, my cat's bigoldturd.com. But is a flout a real instrument?
Oh, no, he plays the flute.
Oh, so he's not a flutist. I thought he played the flute.
I think you can say either.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, but it's just a funny pickup line to me.
Right, I wrote it down in my notes for use. No, but yeah, I wouldn't have to learn the flute first. But yeah, it was great. It was very fun. Let's see what else was there. It was a lot of them. Like I said, we're not gonna go through all of them. VR food was one I liked too. I like the contrast of when he's conscious and when he's kind of in the dream world.
Yeah, I really liked that one too. I've got a bunch of notes about it here somewhere, but I really enjoyed it.
There's even a line I really like. I'm just going to admit I've got a bunch of notes here. Usually I try to hide them.
Yeah, I know, me too. But there's so many films.
Right. Quiet or I'll eat your memories. I actually thought it was a really disturbing line.
Oh, from VR Food?
Yeah.
I didn't even catch that line in that, actually. I thought the ladies in the theater were really creepy.
They were, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I didn't catch that line. That's a good line.
Anything else from Bodily Functions that I didn't mention that you would like to mention?
I was just overall like Bodily Functions for whatever reason was was the first block I watched. I watched them all. I don't know what that says about me. And they were gross, but also like there was so much creativity that at times I was having empathy for like things that aren't usually animate and you wouldn't have feelings for. So it was a very interesting block of films that took me on quite a journey.
Yeah. I think overall for Sick and Wrong, a lot of, because you do go in, I know Michael and Sophia kind of mentioned this, you kind of go in with the name thinking everything's just going to be gross. And there are gross stuff, but there's a lot of like real things they're trying to say, a lot of the films, a lot of creativity, like you said. And it's not just about being sick and nasty and wrong. There's some right in the Sick and Wrong.
Although it is aptly named.
It is, definitely. I don't want to give it like you're watching a bunch of romantic comedies or something.
Yeah.
Which I guess they are, and some of them in their own way. Nail Biter is the classic rom-com of the romantic film. So let's see. Bodily Functions was the first ones you watched. I think which we'll get, the one I watched first we'll get to later, but I think I went right to Trigger Warning first.
Oh, wow. Well, Bodily Functions was the first. I had already seen a huge selection of sporadic films from different blocks.
Yeah, yeah. I thought you just like, you saw Bodily Functions like this is what I need to check out.
And fuck the rest, right? Right. Only Bodily Functions.
Hi, I'm Seth Chatfield from the film Clickbait, and you're watching Without Your Head.
All right, we're back here once again. Sorry for the interruption. It was just all the bodily fluids, bodily functions got us very excited, apparently. At least the computer. Maybe got the computer excited. So now we're at the deep end, which is the weirdest of the weird. And let's see, we got Tony Eats a Shrimp, which we saw before the festival.
Oh my God, it was so weird, and I loved it. It really creeped me out.
Yeah, there was a lot going on here. It was like it's kind of like about addiction, and even if you know the outcome, like you still give in to the temptation. But even just watching it is very very weird.
Yeah, that one sort of haunted me a bit, I think.
There's a few of those like that I kept thinking about, like what the meaning is, and Steven does a really good job of really picking out shorts that fit the fit and that are interesting. And a lot of, and not just him, but a lot, the filmmakers are really making some interesting stuff out there.
Yeah, and what I thought was interesting was how Steven said he builds the blocks, the themes based off of the submissions.
Yeah.
And then I'm interested in the consciousness, like the patterns of the themes of submissions. I was thinking that, especially when I was watching Bodily Functions, I was like, wow, a lot of people are inspired by particular things.
Yeah, it's interesting because, if I didn't know that, I might have thought, well, every year he has a Bodily Functions,
right,
block, and then people like, hey, I'm going to make something to fit into this group, but to build the blocks around those it's interesting.
Yeah, and he said one year he had a lot of pregnancy stuff. And I've actually noticed that because I go to a lot of film festivals, I'll notice that a lot of times people are coming up with similar ideas around a certain time, Yeah,
it's probably based around a lot of what's going on at the time, I would think.
Right.
So I assume next one will be a lot of stuff about, being alone or
But it's not always literal, so it is interesting to see the way things manifest in different people and different people's work.
Right. There's a lot of claymation in this year too. I don't know if there is normally, but I don't see a lot of claymation when I go to festivals normally.
No, me either. There was definitely a lot more here than I normally see, which I really like.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of claymation, stop motion, so I was very excited to see a lot of that. By the way, if you are a fan of claymation like myself, I would recommend Dino Porn, because anyone out there who this was a film in the movie, not like a genre film out there to go seek out, but for anybody out there who's always wanted to see stop motion dinosaurs auto fellatio, now this finally fills that void of a film. It's like a perverted, childlike Ray Harryhausen made this.
I feel like there's a large audience for this.
Right. Not just me. I was like, finally. I wanted, but it's really funny and well made, and very perverted, but it really reminded me like a kid making something and you want like big penises and everything. I dug it. Let's see. My next notes are for Family Matters. If you had anything else in the deep end section,
I didn't break my stuff by block.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I did. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't. Think
we probably should have went over that beforehand.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously throw whatever out. And if I've seen any of the films, which I've seen a lot, I'll just extrapolate on what you throw out.
Okay. Sounds good. Would have been easy. Who knew though? For Family Matters is My Darling Pet Monkey, which I'm a big fan of. I've seen it. I saw it originally when I was in LA with Michael and Sophia, because Michael was working on it, and my friend Jim McDonough made it, who I'm a big fan of. And I don't know if you know this, Jim McDonough is in Umbilicus Desidero, who made this.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
He's the man who's bullying me about not having a belly button.
Oh, wow.
Which, if you know Jim, it's the total opposite of his character. He's like the nicest guy. He would not bully anyone, even if they don't have a belly button.
Well, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah. So, Darling Pet Monkey, this was a lot of fun. If you've never seen a Jim McDonough movie, a lot of weird visuals, and he makes some, like, a lot of green screen stuff, and a lot of stuff with his kids, which is very fun. And just like dolls and stuff you'll find at like on yard sales and thrift stores, and this was just really fun dialogue.
I loved it. It tugged at my heartstrings. I thought the kids were great.
They are, yeah.
I love the music.
Yeah, definitely. And monkeys. I know it's a big theme of yours.
Yeah, yeah, I absolutely love this. I have more notes somewhere, but I think love should suffice, right?
Yeah. Well, if you want, we'll start. We can just go through your list, and I'll.
Oh no, I'm not that organized. I have sporadic notes everywhere. Uh-huh. But I did have a lot of empathy for Pepe.
Yeah.
It really tugged on my heartstrings.
Yeah, because it's not his fault.
And I really liked. Was it Jim playing Pepe?
Yes.
I really liked his performance.
Yeah, he's a very good performer. Yeah, I was going to be in Darling, my Darling Pet Monkey, but
you what?
I was gonna. It was real small, like 5-second part. I was gonna be.
Oh, you were gonna be in it.
Yes. I was gonna be just looking out a window, but I didn't get the footage to him in time, unfortunately. So I was cut out of. And I still love the movie, even if I'm bitter.
Yeah, that's too bad. It would have been a good project to be a part of.
Yeah, we hope to do something again in the future. Like I said, I'm a big fan of his. And
wait, and it's allegedly a true story?
Yeah. This is what they say, because this is based off like the monkeys used to be able to buy in ads and comic books and stuff.
This makes me sad.
It is sad because it's not the monkey's fault.
No.
They're not just supposed to be in a house.
Yeah, but the film was very well done.
It is, yeah.
It made me a little sad.
Yeah, my grandfather actually had a pet spider monkey when he was in, I think, the Korean War, and when he was bringing it back to the States, they wouldn't let him bring it into the United States, so he had to get rid of it, unfortunately.
This is another sad story.
It is. Sad stories revolve around monkeys, and monkeys should be happy. Let's see. Blissburger. Oh, that's Make-A-Wish. Yeah. Sorry. Blissburger. This one I really like too. It's really great production values, and it was, a lot about like the American dream, like what you see, what you think the American dream is, and then what it really is.
Yeah, it was very well done. There's a bar in Hollywood that it really reminded me of.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's called, I have it written here somewhere, Good Times at Davy Wayne's. And it's it's like a 70s style bar, and you go in through a refrigerator, and a lot of the colors and the styles, it's just, the film's highly stylized, and I felt like I was being at that place. It's so well done. I really liked it as a period piece.
Yeah.
I like the production design and everything.
Yeah,
and it also
awesome.
got a tragic ending. But
yeah, it does. No, you go on. I agree. Not only does it look very professional and shot really well, but yeah, it's the end is sad. A lot of these have sad endings.
Yeah, his wife was so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It's very sad. I don't know. Yell at me if I'm saying something I shouldn't say, like as far as spoilers or something.
Oh, just go. I think because on the interview we try to keep away from any spoilers, but I think when we're reviewing, we'll probably get into some spoilers. It's probably hard not to.
Because we're being kind of vague, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I would, and I think I could be wrong, but I think it's only $40 for to buy the whole Sick and Wrong package. That's
a huge deal because there's so many films.
Yeah, and then if you use Headless, you will receive 25% off discount. Shiny Diamonds by Seth Chatfield and Tony Nagy. I know you were a big fan of this one as well.
I was a huge fan, and I was so excited, as I told you, when I realized that Renee Goodhue had done the special effects, because she did the special effects for my film, Echoes of Fear, and I'm watching this film, and I'm super into it. Again, highly stylized film. I love the colors and everything. And Michael and Sophia. And then I get to the credits. I'm like, oh, Michael and Sophia. Oh, Renee Goodhue from Echoes of Fear. So it's great when I'm admiring work, and then I find out that it's my friends, people I know, people I work with. It's just the best.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's really well made. You saw, you've seen Clickbait, right?
Yes.
So I don't know if you know, Seth is the officer from Clickbait.
Oh, yeah, I did not realize that.
And he's also the villain in Blood of the Tribbids.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize. Just like I didn't realize that Edward from is it Edward from
Oh yeah, we forgot to
Make-A-Wish. I had just done a film with him.
That was really wild. Yeah. Yeah, Human Zoo. I noticed that on Facebook when we shared the trailer. He was like, "Oh, we just did the interview, and here we're in the same movie." Well, that was pretty awesome.
I didn't know until he said it either. I didn't realize.
Yeah. And also, when I stayed with Michael and Sophia in December, the Nintendo was in the room I stayed in.
Who was in the room?
The Atari system that was in Shiny Diamonds was in the room that I stayed in. So. Which I didn't know until I was watching.
When you were on Mike and Sophia's couch?
Well, when I was in there on their futon. I moved up to the futon. I was the couch
you're very proud of it.
I am, yeah. Eventually I'll get a bed. At home I just sleep on the floor, so I don't really. Just being an ass. Which I'm sure you're used to by now. But yeah, the colors were great in Shiny Diamonds, which something I think a lot of these had really cool colors and lighting, which I think is something, if you don't have a huge budget, you can, if you have cool lighting, it really adds a lot of production value or interesting lighting. And not just do it for no reason, because that also stands out if someone has like just purple lighting for no reason, but it's got to fit the what you're going for. Is there anything else you want to say about Shiny Diamonds?
No, I loved it. I've got more notes here somewhere, but like I said, I was super enthusiastic about it before I realized that my friends were involved. So it was such a
that really makes it special too, I think.
Yeah. Oh, and the sound effects and the synth music. So, like I mentioned the music, but the sound effects too stood out to me as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you know? I'm not sure who did the music, but
I think Mike and Sophia did some of it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, because anything they do always has cool music. And Seth's a really good guy too. I met him at Boston Underground Film Festival. Let's see. I have Mike Pence's dick in a pickle jar. Want to see it? Which just the name alone, you should watch that.
Right. Yeah, I watched it because of the name. Right. It's a great title, obviously.
Yeah. And there was a very valid point in this, which I've brought up on Facebook before, that no straight man is that obsessed with gay sex. Usually, if someone is that obsessed, they're trying to compensate.
Right. I agree with that.
Let's see. Then there was the girl prop. I'm probably skipping a lot of things. I'm sorry. Oh, Make a Wish was also in that block, which is really good short, and really well made, and really nice people when we got to talk to them on the show.
I agree, and such a simple original concept, like just executed very well.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Sorry. The girl problems block. I don't know. They had the balloon one, balloon Orson. I don't know how you say this. Balloon Orson. It's a balloon and abortion together. That one was because really a hard topic, to talk about in a film, I think. And I think the image of the coat hanger was actually really, shocking, I think.
It disturbed me too. And it was very short, no money, super effective. Definitely affected me.
I agree, yeah. The Devil's Asshole, which I had seen before, the film, not the actual thing. But Brian Lenato made that, which is it's just totally ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
Uh-huh. I meant ridiculous in a good way.
Yeah. Very funny, very impressive. Remind me, was it
it's the one
I know
he's making the chili.
I know what it was, but I think the monster looked good.
Oh yeah, the monster definitely looked good.
Yeah. Very cute.
Yeah, it is very cute. It's a very cute Devil's Asshole. Which is very important, I think. It ends up having a happy ending too.
Yeah, which I appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
I love that it was like the 13th annual LGBTQ chili cook-off / breakdance competition.
Right.
That's very hilarious.
I agree. Which I don't know if we saw any breakdancing though. Now that I think about it.
No, I don't think we did. Maybe the sequel.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna practice my breakdancing for the sequel, which is probably not going to go well. Strange Bird, which I know you were a really big fan of. I liked it too a lot.
Yeah, I love that one.
Is there anything you wanted to talk about Strange Bird, which was really great too? If you guys check out our interview, because I thought both Ezra and Lauren were really interesting to talk about the film. Yeah,
I thought it was interesting that she had said she wasn't originally going to be the lead because I loved her in the film. I would love to watch more of her work. She was really great. The effects were great, but she carried that movie for me, and she's the reason why it worked, I think, so well.
Yeah, there's something about someone who doesn't fit in, which is always, interesting to me. Just the strange bird of the movie. Let's see. I'll just say pimples and nipples. That is something. Hepped up on goofballs. We cold blood in this one, which is a really fun, retro hair metal. This is a really good short. I enjoyed it a lot, and a great payoff.
Yeah, I actually didn't see that payoff coming.
I didn't either. I was just kind of sucked into the story, and I didn't,
Me too. I feel like I should have predicted it, but it was very effective that way. I didn't, and I was surprised.
Yeah, because I think it goes in a direction you don't even know where it's going, and then you kind of you get sucked into that story, and it's almost like you're watching now just a short, documentary about this fictitious band, and then bam, it ends. Which is very smart to do. I like that. And you could tell that she really loved the subject matter, which she talked about, being big into metal and stuff. And I think that comes through in the film.
Yeah, horror comedy can be difficult to pull off, but I really think it was very funny and also very horrific. I'm excited to see what she does next.
Yeah. I know when we did the horror comedy show, I think we both agreed that I always think that it needs to work on both levels. It needs to be funny, but also the horror and horror comedy also has to work.
Yes, I agree.
I'm sure there are exceptions, but that's my rule. Room 237, which I believe is named after The Shining. Possessions. This one I really dug.
I did too.
And there's a lot of stuff about social media. Again, this one, I thought it was going one direction. It's almost like a straight-up documentary. In fact, I thought it was a documentary at first, and then it gets really obviously not a documentary after all.
Another great actress. Wasn't she good?
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, I was really impressed by her.
Yeah. And I like the double meaning of possessions, not to give away the movie, but yeah, which I guess I just did. And I also like the idea of so if there's a lot of stuff in there. I like the idea that he's selling all this stuff to get rid of it, and then you take pictures of it on social media. I think that's a neat idea. And then it comes into play the idea of something that someone else owned. Like, is there something still there, on a different level? Because this came up because I bought a deck of tarot cards at a yard sale once, and then everyone told me never use those because you're not supposed to use someone else's tarot cards because they have the spirits or the mojo of whoever previously owned them. And so I kind of tied that into here, the idea that there's something that someone else owns, and is there anything left in there? Which is just a small part of the thing, but it's really well done. I liked it. Also had some funny dialogue.
Super well done for no money. I love that. I love when there's just so much talent in being able to create something really good with limited resources. He was very likable as well, the lead.
Yeah. AJ, like you said, because it's a lot of you would think the items are probably stuff that he did have around, which really gives it the real world feel. Like this is a lived in place and these are actual things, as opposed to someone just going and getting some stuff to put in the movie. AJ Zyla, he said, kind of like Friday the 13th series with cursed items. Sort of like that. That's always a weird show. I don't know if you ever watched the Friday the 13th series, because really has nothing to do with Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I don't. I'm familiar with it, but I didn't really watch it.
Yeah, I only watch a few episodes. I'm not really. I don't know a lot of it either, but.
Hi, AJ. We hope you're hanging in there. We're always thinking of you. Thanks.
Yeah, AJ's a good man. Yeah, him and his son actually won our Halloween costume contest last year.
Oh, what were they?
putting me on the spot now. I have to look up, but they're on the.
sorry.
But I remember they were awesome though. AJ will let us know here.
Yeah.
Every year they dress up and they do a great job.
That's pretty cute.
Yeah, and they also do really cool pumpkins. Where were you? Washed. I don't know if you got to see this one because
I didn't catch that one.
Oh, this was great. It was like live action stop motion, where like all the movements were like they were made out of clay, and all the things. It's a very David Lynch like feel to it, like when they're in in the lodge in the in Twin Peaks. It's really, really well shot. All the weird motion and animations really done well. Really great gore too in the movie. And again, stop motion, but with real people.
I'm gonna watch more of the film, so I'll check it out.
Yeah, that's one I would I really recommend that one. I liked it a lot. Backwards Creep was a fun one, and it was interesting because I saw that their plan is to make this into a feature. So it was really like an intro to like a weird monster that we can see in the feature film. A lot of weird eyes in this one.
I don't think I caught that one either. Backwards Creep. It's a good title.
It is. That's why it was one of the ones I went to first because of the title. Backwards Creep. I was like, it's something I can relate to. AJ says hi, Trista, and he also says he was Jason from Part 6, and his son was Chucky, which I'll have to send you the picture because
please do. That sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm. This was a good one too, which you might know. Death Walks on Nitrate.
I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, this one's really weird. Witch with a weird witch. Great visuals, really stylized. I actually think it'd be something you would like a lot. Very like 70s or 60s. It's really. I actually don't think there's any dialogue in it. It's just all visual and atmosphere and colors. I really liked it. I actually think that one would be like a fan of Suspiria. I think you would like this.
What's it called again?
Death Walks on Nitrate.
I'm gonna check them all out, but I'll be sure to.
That's one I think could actually be a feature too. I think they could do more with that. And I also like the idea of I don't want to give too much away, but this early on is like your soul or something about you being captured in photography. And that's a big part of the story.
I like that.
Yeah, I think you'd really like it. I liked it a lot. Mushi, I think I'm saying that right. This was about this weird parasite that was growing in the woman.
I did catch that one. It was really cool. I really liked that one. The effects were really great.
Yeah, and there was a cool cutaway.
Gothic photography. Sorry, go on.
No, so there's a real cool cutaway scene where you don't actually see what's happening, but you know what's happening, and I thought it was really effective.
Yeah, I really like that one. And it was all black and white, right?
Yep. That was another one I could see being like a longer thing. And some gross stuff with things coming out of the nose. Any kind of body horror stuff always kind of bothers me. Saturday morning cartoons. You had Cosmic Spaghetti, which was just a really fun visual to watch. Very
cosmic.
Yes. And I don't eat cereal, but I had this has nothing to do with anything, but I had Fruity Loops protein powder smoothie this morning. And basically it tastes just like if you drank milk after you ate a bowl of Fruit Loop cereal.
Oh, that's nice.
It is good. I recommend it. They should pay us. But Cosmic Spaghetti, very fun. And by the way, not just because I actually did like Cosmic Spaghetti, but the director emailed me, and he's doing some other shorts, and he also was watching some of the shows and really likes the video shows. So very cool.
That's nice. I actually found myself feeling so bad for the spaghetti.
Interesting. That's always interesting when you can feel something for like an inanimate object.
Yeah, that happened a lot in this festival, actually.
It really that's I know we're talking about, but I thought overall this was one of the best festivals of shorts I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So much creativity, so much interest, and a lot of different things. It's not all. I know it's in blocks, and even within the blocks, there's different vibes between these. You're not really seeing the same thing over and over. It's all different.
And a lot of ingenuity with no money. A lot of people spend a lot of money on shorts and they look great, which is great.
Yeah.
But this festival in particular, there were a lot of very effective shorts that I could tell that they didn't have money.
Yeah, it's inspiring to me, and I'm sure a lot of people in the same boat. Like, I would like to make some stuff, but I don't spend a lot. And I was like, well, I could conceivably make something just at my house, or out and about. But not to say that anyone can do that, and just say you still have to have good ideas and creativity and
it's very impressive.
Yeah. Abstract concrete. This is just. I really think this one would. Well, a lot of these, but if you were in a theater with the big screen and you were just kind of immersed in the visuals and the sound, this would really be would have been a totally different experience.
Yeah, it was very surreal, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, that one's really, just something cool to watch.
I thought it was beautiful, actually.
Oh, yeah. But don't you think, it kind of goes for anything, but I do think, on the big screen, in the darkness, and it's just out there.
Yeah.
It would have been a much more powerful experience than watching on which is still cool. But I will say, when you watch these stuff, it is cooler to watch it with the lights off.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I do anyway. OC's Ghoulie, which was another claymation that I really enjoyed. It was really dark. Like, the material was very dark, but the claymation, I like the contrast of something that's really dark and disturbing, but yet it's cute. It reminds me of me. But no.
Yeah. I didn't see that one. Not yet.
Check it out. This one I just wrote down in one note was for Terror Fervor, was another animated one. To me, it just feels like Sick and Wrong came to life. This could be like a trailer for Sick and Wrong.
I was very impressed with that. It really freaked me out, actually.
Yeah, and I'm not always a big animation guy, but the animation in these shorts I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it was super impressive, and I think she did it all. I actually wrote that down. She wrote, directed, animated.
Oh, that's awesome. The Scary Door, which is like the horror section of is it Living After Midnight? This is a really fun one. There's a lot of fun gags in this. Just the idea, there's these two killers or kidnappers. They have this woman kidnapped and saying they're going to rip her up. It's horrible stuff, but it's very funny because they have the music too loud, so she can't even hear what they're saying. She's like, I don't know what they have the rock music way too loud, and then the one guy, the one of the torturers, got this weird leather outfit, and he just looks really goofy, and I don't know. I really liked it. It's stuff that shouldn't be funny, but they have fun with it.
What's it called?
Living After Midnight.
I didn't catch it yet, but I will.
It did remind me because I actually wrote a song for Coolidge. You know the song Living After Midnight, rocking to the dawn.
Yeah, I know that song.
So that's in it. And I actually wrote a parody song of that for Coolidge After Midnight, which is Coolidge Corner Theater, and they do midnight movies where I am. And I've never done this on the show, and I probably won't now either because I feel embarrassed. But I wrote a song. Coolidge After Midnight, movies till the dawn. I forget the rest of it.
I love that you pretended to be embarrassed for a second.
You know me very well. See, if you act like you're embarrassed or you think you're a goofball, and then it lets you. It hides your ego. Bingo. Bingo is another one that's very short, but this one really good to me. This really to me has like a creep show vibe or classic EC Comics. Tales from the Crypt, the actual the comic book. Just a really fun short. Really well done.
I really enjoyed it too, and I agree with everything that you're saying.
And that's always a fun thing about the festivals is you watch. Like I would like to see more from this director. If you see something from either the director or an actor, he's like, oh, that's really interesting. I'd like to see more stuff from this person.
I think it was a team of directors.
Oh, I think you're right, actually.
According to my notes, unless I read them. But yeah, I think it was 2 people collaboratively.
The thing with the glowing green eyes, which we talked about on the interview part. This was just really fun. I like the that there's this weird glowing green eyes thing. You don't really ever know what it is, and just this weird small town feel, which I can really relate to. And I like that when the town people are talking about it, they just keep losing track and start talking about the most mundane, pointless things. And I also like that it really doesn't do anything. It just has glowing green eyes.
I also thought those actors were, like you're saying, the actors were really good. They were really entertaining. There's a lot of really understated humor, which I appreciate.
I do too. I like a dry sense of humor, where it's not necessarily played for laughs. It's played, just played very realistic. The trigger warning block. You said about the bodily functions. I don't know what it says about me, but the trigger warning block probably was kind of my stuff. Probably the closest thing to stuff that it really meant the most to me. I think everything in the trigger warning block. I like things that like kind of touch buttons, within people. And there's a few here that some of my favorite ones, and the one I didn't even think like I would be interested is Piss Off, which is a documentary about the. And this one, I don't know how to explain. It's like, so I'm not necessarily interested in the subject matter, but I think watching it and like the questions that like arise in your head is more interesting than actually what's going on. Because like I'm someone who always thinks, consenting adults should be able to do whatever they want. And then like you're watching it and like you think that, and then like it kind of keeps challenging that thought process the more you watch it. Like, yeah, they can do anything, but can they do it in public? Can they do it with other people around? And it keeps kind of pushing those boundaries and that thought. And I thought it was really well done.
I thought it was really well done. I found it very educational. I didn't know anything about it.
No, I didn't either, yeah.
I also was surprised at the amount of people that were involved in those activities. And then towards the end, I thought it had kind of a sad ending.
Yeah, it definitely does. And because, so like I was saying, it kind of pushes your like questioning, like, is this okay? Is this okay? But then I think by the end, you've seen so much of it, like you're not really, it's not necessarily strange to you anymore. You know what I mean? Because there's so many people doing this. And then when you find out what happens, to the main guy, like I don't want to give away, but like it's sad. It's like, what someone does in their private life can hurt their job and their them in the real world.
Yeah, that one actually was very thought-provoking, I think, because it's something that I can't relate to. I thought about it a lot, and I'm not sure I understand it, but like you said, if it's making people happy and they're not hurting anyone,
Yeah. Yeah, it's really well done. Like, it was something I didn't know anything about. They also brought up questions like, is this art or pornography, which I thought was interesting. It's really well made, and I think a documentary is something that makes you, you question your own thoughts on something that you when you go into it. So I'd definitely recommend that one, and I could see that being a feature length. It's a perfect length as it is, But it could be that could be something that could be on HBO or something.
I agree.
New Year's Kiss. Oh, we talked about that on the on the interview. Lots of puking, but I really like the song, the old lang syne.
Yeah, and it was actually a very sweet story, I thought. I might be a little desensitized to vomit, as well, but I wasn't horrified by it. I thought it was sweet.
Pride by Michael and Sophia. I thought this was great, and people going in, especially Michael stuff like those nudity and stuff, but beyond that, it's a very powerful story and message in Pride. And he kept saying, on their Facebook that it's different than anything they've done, and it is in the regards of it's more graphic, but I think it's right in line with everything they've done, where it's about social commentary about the world. So I thought it was excellent.
I did too. I really enjoyed it. I appreciated that you had warned me, but and that was funny and cute. But when watching it, right, it's not about anyone's body. It's about there's a story there. And similar to me as an actor, I've done films where it's not about my body. There's a story there. So, I wasn't distracted or put off or. I thought it was an interesting way to tell a story. Yeah.
And it's like a big spoiler if I say this, so here's kind of a spoiler, but just the end, the fact he doesn't scream is a big part of to show how ridiculous something earlier in the story is. But yeah, that's fantastic. The Magician. What was that? Oh, that one, Magician was really well done. That was a really graphic one too, The Magician.
Oh yeah, that was very sad, wasn't it? Heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
That one really broke my heart. Very sad, very well done.
What was
very
weird,
haunting again.
And what's weird about it is I think the still imagery in it, because they use a lot of still photography, made it seem more realistic than if it was moving, a lot of it. I don't know why. I don't know if it kind of gave it. I don't know if realistic's the right way, but I don't know. There's something about it that, like you said, haunting. I think maybe it kind of seemed almost like a documentary when you're seeing, the photographs. I don't know. There's something about it, and again, really Innocent Boy. I've seen a couple times, but this was actually a different cut than I saw at Stuff. And it actually is better than the one I saw. Not that it was bad at Stuff, but they did perfect it, I thought. I think the runtime's actually even a little shorter, yet there's added scenes to it than the one I originally saw, which is interesting.
It's really a very powerful film.
It is very, very well made, very talented people involved. Brave people, to take these parts. I would think, a lot of people probably wouldn't want to necessarily be in this. Only because of the graphic nature of it, not because it's not good or anything. I like they play a lot with gender in the movie in a lot of the roles. That's one. Well, all movies that way. If you don't know it's best not to know a lot about something when you go into it. Because I didn't know anything the first time I saw it, and so I didn't know what to expect. And just really shocking imagery, or it's just images that stick with you.
Right. Even if someone told you a synopsis, it wouldn't do it justice in any way.
Yeah, all the characters are interesting. The cowboy's very vicious, hateful guy. There's a lot of stuff going on. And I like the use of the voiceover, which sometimes doesn't work and everything, but I thought it really worked here.
I agree.
If I had to pick one that stuck with me the most, it's Lifelike for the whole festival. Not necessarily, I'm not saying it's the best or my favorite or anything, but I think it's the one that stuck with me the most. And this is one I think really asks a lot of questions. And if you have a preconceived notion of what it's about going in, I think it even makes you question your own thoughts on the topic.
I would agree. It probably, if it affected me the same way. And I think it's an important movie.
I do too. I could see it's like an episode of Black Mirror, but yeah, I like something that it asks an important question, within a genre piece.
And the lead actor was really incredible.
I agree 100%. He had so much empathy to a character that going in, the vast majority of people would despise.
It really made me grateful that that's not something I struggle with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always, it's a weird topic to even talk about because even if you just talk about, some people take it, whatever you're saying, possibly the wrong way and think you're advocating something. When it's not really advocating it, it's just sympathizing on some level.
Or understanding that some people have this problem.
Right. I mean, honestly, you're attracted to what you're attracted to. I know, like, just saying that, like, people take that the wrong way, but anyway, it's excellent. Definitely one people should check out. And this is a perfect block for it because I could see a lot of. It's going to be just the topic itself is going to be something a lot of people won't want to watch, and I totally understand that. But it's definitely, and I think it's definitely something that people could watch. A group of people could watch, and everyone could have a different opinion on it. And none of them are necessarily right or wrong. So yeah, that was welcome to, and I'm glad you brought the performance too, because not only is it brave to even take that role, but he really nails it. Welcome to Sick and Wrong. This was ones that they just say like really personify the sick and wrong vibe. We had Catatonic, which I really like this one. Like it's a really like somber topic about someone wanting to commit suicide, and but hilarious.
Yeah, very funny. I had mixed feelings as a cat owner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a big animal lover.
Yeah, but it was very sad and cute and disturbing, like a lot of these films are, but very well done.
Yeah, and it ends up being very, very has a happy ending at the end.
Yes, I was relieved about that.
Yeah.
And the cat's real name is Glenn. I scoured the credits and I thought that was very cute.
Yeah, it is cute. I like people who name their cats, names like Glenn or
David,
Mr. Principal. Trying to, I usually used to name a lot of my cats after Greek gods when I was a kid for some reason. My last cat was Faye, who I had for a very long time. Faye the Gray Stray came to my house one day, and now she's here to stay was her full name. On early episodes of the show, people could hear, because I had both my cat and my dog at the time, they would kind of fight who could sleep on me. Sometimes I have to hold both, and you could probably hear them a little bit on some of the first year or two of the podcast. This is a true story. I used to do the show in a different room, and I used to put up like a wall of just like it was like a big cardboard, like a, I don't know what it was, like I called it my wall, but it was like a big box. It's that like something to come in to try to, because they would come and try to get with, which I love, but Faye would just climb right over it and get to me.
Undeterred.
Exactly. The Cone of Shame. This one was really depressing, I thought.
Yeah, this one was really hard to watch, huh?
Yeah, I felt really bad for Bixby.
But again, important subject matter.
Yeah, 100%. Really well done. Sad times. Which I always feel, because some people have asked me before, like, why do you like something that might make you feel depressed or disturbed or something? And I always think that anything that you get an emotional response from is important on some level, whether those emotions are positive or negative. It's still an emotional response. I think that was all the ones I have notes for the shorts. And then there was I did see that Gross and in Love, curated by Clarius, is coming Saturday. So this is a special block of stuff, and that you can pre-order it right now. Then there's a lot of features too.
So you didn't catch Richard Nixon Getaway Driver?
Oh, I did see that. Yes.
I was going to recommend that one. It's really great.
Yeah, it is a great performance, and it takes like it's almost like why I used to like conspiracy theories, because they were like crazy, and then you could have fun with them until people really took them so serious, and now they're not so fun. But this is like something so ridiculous and fun, and just a weird idea. Like where
it's so weird. Yeah. Very dark humor.
Yes, yeah, I really liked it a lot. Exit, we talked about on the Exit's a feature film. We talked about on the interview is really good. Night of the Rumpus I got to see. It was a weird kind of combination of documentary and the scripted film. And Bill Berman's Wild Boar, which I had seen previously because I had him on the show, and I really recommend that. It's kind of like old school Terry Gilliam movie with Warwick Davis is in it. There's a small role in it. I really recommend that. It's a really just bizarre movie.
I caught it. It was hard for me to watch because I'm very sensitive about animals.
Mm-hmm.
But the effects were amazing, and there's some important messages, again, very important themes, very profound films in this festival.
Yeah. Was there any ones I didn't get to that you, besides The Getaway Driver?
Another one that really disturbed me, which again is not an insult,
No,
the
I
huge
agree.
thing I think of film's purpose is to evoke emotion, to affect someone, to make them think. Mm-hmm. And pig meats, definitely.
Oh, I thought I had that on my list, but yeah.
And I thought the animation was very well done.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot of concern about that baby. Yeah. So it derived a lot of empathy and thought, Mm-hmm. And it was hard to watch.
Yeah.
What else? There's I know there's more. There's a lot. But overall, I'm very impressed with the quality of films in this festival. I highly recommend it. I'll be watching all of the ones that I haven't seen yet. Oh, did you catch Blackface?
Oh yeah, I did have Black. Yeah, I think I might have skipped it for some reason. But yeah, that was a great one. That one really felt like an old Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it really did.
Almost like the Twilight Zone from the movie. The one of the episodes with the racist guy, which has a really unfortunate real story. When the actor died in the movie and the kids, but yeah, it has a real Twilight Zone feel where it's about something and has a message to it.
Yeah, I thought it was very well done.
Yeah,
and
it's really. Anything with like face stuff is always like in one of the scenes from Poltergeist that reminded me of.
Any kind of face stuff you're into? Well, you like body horror, right?
Yeah. Not necessarily into, but it kind of creeps me out. But
yeah, yeah, it was creepy. It was definitely creepy, and it made it very awkward. It made you uncomfortable as an audience, and I think that's
even before you get to the horror of it, even when he just shows up at the party and like you can feel everyone's awkward vibe to him, and then there's a small percentage of people there who find it funny, which is is also strange, but it's very realistic. Yeah. Sean Ovzak, he says, hello, Trista, and he hopes that you're having a great day.
Oh, Sean, it's Osak, but yeah, it's spelled kind of like that. Thanks, Sean. It's nice to hear from you. I hope you're well. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you for watching. Very good. So, yeah, great festival. Honestly, one of the best festival stuff I've seen. From beginning to end.
I agree. So much great stuff, so much profound stuff. Like I said, so much stuff without any money that's still important and entertaining.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice feeling to watch all these and know that there are so many talented filmmakers out there making something, from all different parts. So not just parts of the country, there's some, international stuff. So all parts of the world making interesting stuff, like you said, for not necessarily much money, and just because they want to create something.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Whenever I, obviously I work in film, but whenever I attend a film festival and I see all of the amazingly talented filmmakers and all of the amazingly talented films, it always makes me feel small. And that sounds like a negative, but it's actually a positive. Like, I find a lot of comfort in sort of feeling small. It's like a very comforting feeling.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Is that strange, what I'm saying? Like, when you're in an airplane and you look down and your problems in your life seem so small and everything's so vast and the world is so much. It feels good. Yeah,
because sometimes you just think so much about your own problems, and then you see, like, or not just your own problems, but you're stuck in your own world, and then you see there's the vast people out there and a big thing out there that, you're just a small part of this.
Yeah, it's humbling and inspiring, and that's, I guess, what I got out of this festival as a whole.
Yeah, and for the film festivals in general, and I think especially Sick and Wrong, like, a lot of the stuff in this particular film festival doesn't fit in, like, a lot of genres. Like, there are things that would fit, a couple things that, this is a horror thing, whatever. But a lot of it is stuff that's just, how do you categorize it? And so if you can't categorize it, unfortunately, a lot of times there's like not a platform for it. But that's what to me, one of the big draws of the film festivals are, to get to see stuff that doesn't necessarily fit in, anywhere else.
I agree. I've met some of my best friends and gotten some of my best jobs from film festivals. It's such a great community for people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in a way, that's how I met you, was because I did the short film with Michael and Sophia, who I knew, through an independent film, but I get to know them better through the festivals. And met a lot. That's how I met Brian too, actually. Brian, who made Echoes of Fear, was at Buffalo Dreams Fantastic Film Festival.
Yeah, I'll have to go there sometime. I've heard so many good things about that.
Yeah, it's a really nice. It's really cool. There's a few that stick out to me: Buffalo, Boston Underground Film Festival, South Texas. Most of these have underground in them. South Texas Underground Film Festival, and it's cool because they're all very similar. Even though they're all different parts of the country, but you could see that each of them have their own film community. People who come there, probably every year. Sometimes they don't have a film every year, but they come and they also support everybody, which is really good to see. I remember at the last Boston Underground Film Festival I was at, and Crawl was just coming out with the Big Alligator movie, and the brothers who wrote that, the Rasmussen brothers, were regulars at Boston Underground Film Festival.
Oh yeah, they're from Boston, right?
Yeah, and it was really cool to me, which sounds like everyone should do this, but it's not normally this way. But everyone there was like talking about how great it was that they had a film being produced by Sam Raimi. And I've been around other people before where it's like, if something like that, they would be like really jealous and bitter that, one of their peers is doing something, mainstream or more mainstream than. But it was nice to see that everyone was really supportive and happy that these guys, wrote something that was, being theatrically released and had a big budget and stuff. That was nice to see.
That's been my experience in the horror community too.
Yeah, I would say at the film festivals, definitely. That's why I like them. There's very little bitterness or political agendas, and I'm not a big fan of that. So I like just everyone being supportive and sharing their weird things that they create.
Well, if you're a good person and you could do work, and you deserve it, right? I sometimes, as you know, I'm also a wrestling fan, and I'm an indie wrestling fan as well. So I sometimes liken indie film to indie wrestling. You know, it's so obviously it's not as physically demanding as wrestling. You know, those guys take a real beating, but there's a lot when you're making indie films. It takes a specific type of person, and similar with wrestling, and people get better and better and better, and then once in a while those guys are plucked to the big time. And I think it's similar with wrestlers. They're always really, for the most part, the people that I know, the people that I've seen, they're always very supportive because they know what it takes. They know how hard it is, and that people deserve good things, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You could zoom into the wrestling show sometime if you like.
Yeah, I will. I'd like
Right. Yeah, it's on Tuesdays. It'll be fun. So let's I'll have to think. We have to think of a wrestling name for you.
Oh, Treacherous Trista sounds very wrestlery.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick and wrongfilm.com. We'll have the link on the website, but you'd be able to do Sick and Wrong. It's sick and then just wrong.com, and use promo code Headless to save 25% off. And it's cool how it's set up because you could go and watch whatever you want right now, and I believe it's going to have like a live thing where they're going to like stream stuff, and you can just watch whatever's showing, or you can just go and watch whatever you want. Whenever you can, when you have you're free to do so. See, well, I'm going to check the rest of them out too. Not just because I really like the stuff, and maybe we'll talk about some more of it, later on in the week.
And the fellow that runs the festival is a great guy.
Yeah, Steven.
I liked him as well.
Yeah, he has a really weird short. I remember Sophia had mentioned it. I'll see if I don't know if it's online or I saw it though when I first started talking to him, and it's really weird. I think you'd like it.
Yeah, send it to me if you find it.
Yeah, but yeah, he's a really cool guy. I've not met him in person, but we met him on Zoom and stuff. But yeah, he's a really nice guy, and I asked him about the shirts because I saw pictures where it's got that wild unicorn shirt that I used in the banners. Like on a pink shirt. I was like, I would totally wear that. So he's seeing if he has any left because I would like. As people, if you don't know this, I like weird shirts.
Yeah, you have a great shirt collection.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
At least I'm good for something. Yes. I was trying to pick out one thing for shirts. Yeah. They're pretty good at faces, I think. But I'm not and knocking over bookshelves. Unfortunately, I broke Dracula's fingers, but no, what can you do? All right, so we'll be back tomorrow with Homewrecker. That's going to be really cool. Cast and crew of Homewrecker, we have the director and the two leads. That'll be awesome. Looking forward to that. And then Thursday, John Dugan returns, which a big fan of John, a friend of John, known him for years. One of the first people I became friends with when I started doing the conventions. And I think I've known him like 9 years now. It seems strange. But what's weird is, so he was really friendly with me and Troy. And he didn't know for like 2 years that Troy and I were brothers. And we were just happy. And he's like, wait, you guys are brothers? And I was like, yeah, he didn't. He's like, well, you don't have the same like voice. You don't look alike. And, but it was weird that he knew us for all these years and didn't know we were brothers.
I can see that. I don't know if I would know if I hadn't been introduced to you that way.
Right. Yeah. And see, Troy's a big smoker. So he would hang out with the cool smokers outside with like John. And so it would be like little different groups of people, which for a little while at the festivals, I started to smoke a pipe just so I can hang out with the smokers. But I was a big fraud because I actually stuffed it with this mint. It wasn't tobacco.
Oh, wow.
But I gave up the pipe. So I don't hang out at conventions anymore, I guess. But anyway, that's nothing to do with anything. Sick and wrong. Check it out, and then a lot of stuff coming up. So just check out the Facebook page. I'll be on the live watch parties, and check out withoutyourhead.com. I know some people out there that they love the videos, which I've gotten all kinds of messages this last week about people really like the videos. It's great, but there are people out there who still want just the audio, which is totally fine. So I've updated all the video shows are also on podcast form, so you could watch them or listen to them on iTunes or wherever your favorite podcasting site is. All right. Anything else there, Treacherous One?
No. Thank you. Thank you for listening and or watching.
Right.
And check out Sick and Wrong. I'll be checking out Sick and Wrong. And so
I as well. Sick and Wrong. Oh, and the shirt. This is from Paul Bearer Press. Necromantic. It's a very bizarre film. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's a very romantic song. A very strange scene, but yeah, I dig it. All right, we're going to get out of here. So bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.